What is love in the world of law of attraction? Can I attract it?
Can we attract love?
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
The more wounds we have from our past, the more difficult it is to create love in the future. The complaints I have with my father is the person I will attract in my life.
I feel like I'm in a place in life where I'm ready for a relationship. I've had multiple relationships that didn't work out, but I'm willing to work on them. How does one use the principles of the law of attraction to make their existing relationship healthier and happier?
Any scene of a movie which has made me feel love is because that is one of my desires.
Can you attract a specific person romantically in your life?
Now, desperation can only attract desperation as a frequency. You keep trying to run behind a person, you'll not get what you really want, which is love. Be the person you want to attract.
So what is the correlation with this principle and opposites attract?
So the actual theory is not that opposites attract, it complementary attracts.
When it comes to things like infidelity, wanting the relationship back versus your self-respect, two sides of the same coin, how do you guide your students if they are going through these type of situations?
But I also know couples who are in multiple relationships and they're happy. But we have this belief that relationships are complex. Physical intimacy is not what we do in the end of the day in the bed. That's the end of it. The beginning starts with a hug. The beginning starts with a kiss. And it doesn't have to be a kiss on the lips. It can be with a kiss on the forehead. Start with that.
Is it really possible to use manifestation to attract the love of your life? Today's guests know it is, and they're here to show you how. Hi, I'm Karishma Mehta, and welcome to Realign, the podcast, where we simplify the concepts of science, spirituality, and well-being to help you navigate the complexities of modern life. Reintroducing Indu and Mitesh Khatri, the law of attraction coaches who've helped millions of people harness the power of the mind in our last episode. And in a world of situationships, heartbreak, and young love, Indu and Mitesh stand testament to their technique, having manifested their own love story against all odds. Today, they talk about the mistakes that most people make while choosing a significant other, share easy techniques to manifest the perfect partner, and explain why you may be sabotaging your own love life. Learn how to apply the principles of the law of attraction to your relationships, to overcome blocks, heal from the past, and facilitate healthy love starting from within. It's time to realign mind, body, and soul. Welcome back, guys. By popular demand, second episode. I still get messages about how great your episode was. I don't know if I told you this. A friend of mine who was manifesting something started watching your episode 11 in the night, and
Wow.
because she came back from work, whatever. And then she messaged me saying, I got out of bed, I put the lights on, I sat down with a notebook.
Wow.
Because she thought she could just like listen to it, but then she was actually like writing. So that's testimony to how good an episode it was. So welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us again. Thank
And
you.
excited to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is of most interest to me, which is love. And manifestation in love.
Yes.
And you guys told everybody who was listening your story, and it was amazing. And I'm excited to decode what really it takes in terms of techniques, but even in terms of mindset, right? On
Done.
how one can go about the very many layers that there are.
Yes.
So let's start with the basic.
Sure.
What is love in the world of law of attraction and manifestation? I know everything comes from a place of love, but this is specifically for love in relationships or different kinds of relationships that are in our life.
Sure, I'll let the lady start with love.
So my definition is very simple in terms of love. I feel that freedom of expression, freedom of doing whatever the person wants to do. And that's what we both share a lot. We both have huge freedom in our relationship. And hence our bond is so strong. So if you ask me what is the definition of love, it's freedom.
Okay.
Freedom of expression.
Okay, awesome.
Wow. Yeah, true. For me, love is the way I feel about myself, irrelevant of whether someone loves me or not.
Right.
So let's say suddenly I find somebody who loves me a lot, and one fine day they're angry with me, which might happen, right? More often than usual. And in that moment, how do I feel about myself? And if I feel that suddenly I'm nothing without somebody, that's not love. That's dependency. Attachment.
Yeah.
I remember the first time, if I may share this example, the first time I took Indu to my mentor and I said, I was introducing him
I'm in love.
to her and I said, this is my girlfriend and I'm in love with her.
No.
So he said, say you like her, don't say you love her. I said, why? He said, because right now what you understand as love is nothing but attachment. You think you can't do without her. That's not the same as you love her. He says, pure love would be when you would be able to love yourself without her as much as you love her with her. And the day you feel that, then say that you're in really love with her. It took me some time to actually experience that.
Yeah.
But that's what I know now.
That's interesting. This is a very deep and mature definition of love.
That's why he's my mentor.
Yeah. So when we talk about some of the topics that are researched or people type when it comes to understanding love and law of attraction, the most popular question is, can I attract it? And I think that if we are able to decode that, so many different people will get answers. So let's
Absolutely.
take that question.
So, yeah, can we attract love? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because how does law of attraction work? Frequency attracts frequency. Does it work? 100%. In terms of science, 100%. I think the decoding part that is necessary is knowing that we are not frequency in terms of a button. But we do have 4 buttons, which I spoke about last time, F, T, B, A. So if I feel love, I will attract love. If I think, believe, and act as a loving person, I will attract love. Now the question is, how many rules do I have about love? Then I might find it difficult to attract love or easy to attract love. So I'll give you a very simple example of that. And this is what I also call the word frequency. So in terms of beliefs are also nothing but rules, where we say, I believe if this happens, then that happens, right? Nothing but a rule in life. I think it's very easy to fall in love with this girl because, and I'm really saying that, because she has very easy rules of love. Right? As far as I'm around her, she thinks I love her. She doesn't have very difficult rules about, I have to bring her flowers every day, or I have to give her certain gifts on an anniversary. I mean, I do surprise her on anniversary and all stuff, but there are not too many difficult rules about it. So the easier the rules of love that we have, the more our energy is open to receive love. But the more difficult the rules are. So yes, it's absolutely easy to attract love.
Okay. So I asked this question from the perspective that love is a very subjective subject.
Yeah.
Because it comes from a series of beliefs or experiences that you've had in your past that may act as limiting beliefs to what you see in the future.
True.
Which is why there are so many people who feel very stuck when it comes to relationships and good, healthy relationships. Yes. People tend to attract toxic relationships or relationships that are not lasting far easier than they are able to accept the fulfilling, full love that we talk about.
True.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
The reason is whenever we are stuck, look at the word stuck. It means something is in one place and not moving. An example can be if I fall down and if I suddenly get hurt here, this part gets stuck, swollen. Touching it also becomes hurtful. In simple, it's a word called wound. The more wounds we have from our past, the more difficult it is to create love in the future.
Yeah.
The word healthy is the opposite of the word wound. So again, the more wounds in the past, the more difficult it is to create healthy love in the future. So someone who's stuck is someone who's basically hurt a lot of times in the past with certain traumatic relationships. It doesn't have to be with a life partner. It doesn't have to be with a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It can be with parents. It can be with siblings. After all, that's also the foundation of where our definition of relationship starts from, right?
Correct.
I mean, 99.99% we get our definition of relationship first from our parents, then from our siblings or elder brother, elder sister, then from uncle and aunties and the extended families if you have any at that time. And these families, the kind of wounds we have there, builds the foundation of, is it stuck as a wound? And if it is stuck as a wound and it's not healed, I'm going to keep reattracting that to my life. Let's go back to as parents. The complaints I have with my father is the person I will attract in my life.
Really?
Yeah. So an example of that is if I'm angry with my father for being very dominating, very insensitive, no matter what you do, run away from those kind of people as much as you can. But if I have that complaint with my father, it's a wound. It's a very strong wound. So it's going to be stuck. So subconsciously, am I going to be happy when I find unconsciously somebody dominating? Or am I going to be open to that person? What do you think?
I think on a subconscious level, you go back to familiarity, which is I feel safe here because that's all I know.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
And the opposite of that, right?
Yeah.
Subconsciously, I run away from something I'm uncomfortable with.
Correct.
Unfamiliar with.
Yeah, which
right?
is like a normal, safe, neutral kind of approach to this.
So if with my father I never felt safe in a certain conversation, which is a dominating conversation as an example, the moment I meet people who are dominating, I will not appreciate them being the way they are as a whole. The moment I see that part of them, I switch off.
Yeah.
And the moment they come close to me, I try to be away from them. But believe it or not, I will get attracted to those people again in my life. And they will keep coming to me again and again and again. Because here I'm stuck in that wound. I don't want domination. The more we in law of attraction say, I don't want traffic, what happens? That day all the signals are red.
Yeah.
So I don't want someone who's dominating. What's going to happen? I'm going to keep attracting dominating people. So what's the solution? Let's heal the wounds of the past first.
Yeah.
And then it's easy. Now when I'm healthy and I'm no more stuck, I'm healthy, free flowing. Now I'll attract someone healthy.
So this is the difficult part.
Yeah.
You said it's easy. Of course it's easy once you're there, but the actual uncovering of the wound and healing is difficult.
Yes.
It is because it runs deep, it runs very long for so many people. So what are the techniques or what is a basis that people can apply in their lives to begin this process?
The major one is that when you are coming across with anybody, let's say I'm coming across you, and if I'm coming and saying good things about you, that's a reflection I'm having. That's part of me I have accepted in me. But it's the other way around as well. Say I say something bad about, say, Kanishka. I say Kanishka is like this or like that. That means that part of me I have not accepted in me. That's a reflection I'm having and I'm resisting towards Kanishka for that. But the moment I accept that part, okay, Kanishka is X, Y, Z, so am I. I am also X, Y, Z. The moment I see that as a reflection, I accept it completely about me having that thing, then it becomes simple,
It's healed.
Yeah. It's healed. Yeah, it's complete acceptance towards Kanishka. Now I have accepted Kanishka as a package. Kanishka is good as well as bad. I have accepted you as a package. You are good as well as bad. So when I'm seeing you, I don't see bad in you because I'm not resisting that in me. So I have accepted all my wounds. I have accepted myself completely. And that theory is called reflection theory.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's my complete favorite.
Yeah, that's her favorite. That's one way of healing. Another way of healing is using one of our beautiful techniques we call as hope.
Yeah.
Where whoever I have a wound towards, so let's say, of course, the first step would be to identify where the wound is. A lot of people don't even understand that. But let's say now I can write down, it's actually fairly easy. I take my pen and paper and
is a simple word,
thought saying, I write down who are the people in my past I'm avoiding or I don't like, or what complaints do I have with them. I specifically like to go back to mom and dad because that's our foundation. So what complaints do I have with my mom? What complaints do I have with my dad? I write it down. These are my wounds. Believe it or not, 9 out of 10 times we'll attract people with those same qualities.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I've done enough research on this. Thousands of people, they always come back. So every time when people come to me for coaching and they talk about their relationship going wrong, I say, okay, tell me the complaint you have with your partner. I said, now tell me, did you have a similar complaint with your mom or dad? They're like, yeah. And it's almost always the same. So what do we do now? That's the question.
What do we do now?
You would take that quality of your, let's say, father and say, Dad, I'm sorry for hating you for being dominating. Please forgive me. I did not accept you the way you are. Thank you for being in my life with domination, even without domination. And I love you the way you are. So the 4 statements of hope, nope, nor, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And chant it as many times as you can until that emotion towards my father has zeroed down. And we will feel it, right? Like I would say before starting the exercise, ask yourself that on a level of 1 to 10, how do I feel about my father when I think about that quality which I have a wound about? And now I do hope, nope. And I keep doing it 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 5 rounds until that feeling goes down and I can feel it. That's one way of healing it. The second level of healing it would be now generating love. So if you remember in the last podcast, I don't know if I said this, stop solving, start evolving, which means we keep solving problems, but we got to go beyond that and start evolving in life. So one level is to heal that wound, fair. We need that. Solving is necessary. But now let's evolve. What do I mean by that? let's generate that frequency of love now. So for that, I created something called as Love Pono Pono.
Okay.
I hope you like the name. The first statement is something we don't acknowledge in our life. You'll observe anybody who feels are not attracting love, missing the first statement. And that is, thank you for all the love I have in my life. Right? When we're trying to attract love from a particular source or a particular person or a particular type of a relationship, in that moment, we forget all the love that we have.
Yeah.
So the first statement is to reaffirm, thank you for all the love I have, but not just saying it, but visualizing every person in your mind of the person who loved you. And how many people can you remember? Thank you for the love you have, love I have. And now you remember school days and college days and even somebody who met you for a day and loved you. Remember all those people and say, thank you for the love I have. The second statement is, I love myself the way I am. The more I can generate love from within, now I'm like a fountain of love from inside to outside, rather than waiting for love from the outside. And I am dry here like a well, waiting for some fountain from outside to fill me up. Instead of that, now I'm a fountain from inside. But to generate that, I love myself the way I am. And the third one is something we are all wanting to say when we are trying to attract somebody, is those three beautiful words, I love you. So after we chant hope, nope, no, to heal that wound, and once I know that the wound is healed, now I generate the frequency of love, where I 108 times twice a day say, thank you for the love I have, I love myself, and I love you. This is one round. I say this 108 times twice a day.
Wow.
And the frequency that you feel, it just goes to another level. People have told me in our workshop, the first time when they say this 108 times, not everybody, but some of them have told me they've had tears. They couldn't stop crying the first time they said it, and they couldn't finish 108 times. But then they did it the second and the third time, and the tears went away. And now they just started feeling love.
Yeah, it's very interesting because when you look at the dichotomy of the parallel, right? That in order to actually attract love, you have to become love.
Absolutely.
But
So
people
beautiful.
really struggle with that because I think the human brain or psychology is wired to kind of appreciate things only when they are actually in your life. The difficult part is appreciating something when it's not in your life. The lack of it, right?
True.
The lack or the feeling of, I don't have it, so how can I really appreciate it? So how...
But I'll just
how
add to
yeah.
that. It's not that you don't have it. You have it. It's just that you don't have it from a particular person.
Yeah.
But you have it from other people.
Yeah.
You have it from your parents, siblings, friends, neighbors, uncle, auntie, colleagues. There are a lot of people who are actually giving, even the maid servant who actually cook food for us. They are cooking out of love only, right? So there are so many people giving us the love. We are not appreciating it. And we are looking at only from that one place. Like Mitesh says, that you are thirsty, you want water, but you are very clear that you want water only from that one tap. You don't want it from other 9 taps, which are giving you the water.
Yeah.
So we are getting love actually from everyone else. Just that one person is missing.
So then I'll cut to the chase and ask the question that most people have. Can you attract a specific person romantically in your life?
Yes and no, because the reason I say no is because the moment I say a specific person, we generated a frequency of desperation. Now, desperation can only attract desperation as a frequency. So I would say, don't attract a person, attract love. Because I have thousands of people who I have met who said they used law of attraction, they got the person they wanted, and then they got divorced.
Really?
Or they broke up. Or they suddenly realized, I'm in a toxic relationship. So don't force yourself into a relationship with a person. Let it be free-flowing. Attract love rather than a person. Because eventually, what do we want in the end of the day? We don't want a person. We want a person who can give us love, happiness, companionship, friendship, feeling of connection, and all those qualities that we can feel with a friend, something that I can feel with her every day. Now, if those qualities are not there, and if she's now in my life, the mind says, what's the point? It's like, I'm sure you've probably ever experienced this when you want to buy something desperately. And when you really buy it, you're like, that's it. Like, I'm not feeling what I thought I would feel.
Yeah.
So then that thing that I bought is meaningless.
Yeah.
That's what happens in a relationship when we are too strong about attracting a specific person. And I know it's difficult for people to hear this because right now when they're hearing it, they're like, no, but I want that person. And I completely get that.
I want my ex back.
I want my ex back. And I completely get that because I've done that myself. I remember when I learned manifestation for the first time, I had broken up with a girl. in Mumbai.
Okay.
And I had gone to my mentor saying, how can I get her back? And that's when he had made me realize that you keep trying to run behind a person, you'll not get what you really want, which is love. So he was the one who first trained me into really focusing on the end result, not focusing on the process of where the end result comes from. So as she said, let's not focus on the glass, but what you really want from the glass, which is the water. So in this case, again, I would say, let's not focus on the person who can come to me. Let's focus on the love. So I would say my affirmation is, I'm so happy now that I am happily married. I have so much love in my relationship. I'm getting along with this new beautiful extended family. And we're having lovely holidays. We are great friends. So many times we sit with each other and we don't even talk and we're still so comfortable with each other. I think this is what I really want, right? So I would write those affirmations and I would affirm that and vibrate at that frequency and feel that every day and visualize that twice a day without even worrying about the face. And if I can, and the name, and if I can surrender that, believe it or not, I have seen people who've said, and both cases I've got, I attracted the same person and it was beautiful. I attracted somebody else and it was beautiful.
Got married also.
Got married also, because in both cases, they did not attract the person, this or that, they attracted what?
The love.
Love. Considered it. So focus on love, not the specific person.
So 2 questions here. The first one is, when you said that, okay, I'm going to affirm that I'm so happily married. I'm happy now that I'm happily married. There's that voice, the subconscious, which loves gnawing its head and saying that's a lie because it's not true.
Absolutely, let it happen.
So what does one do when they're at this stage and you feel like, I'm just writing this affirmation, I'm not really feeling it, it's a lie, I'm not really happily married, I'm alone, then what do you do?
That's the beautiful difference between a thought and a belief. When it's a thought, it's going to be weak, it's going to be doubtful. So your back of the mind, because it's a thought, it's not a belief, your mind is going to say, you don't believe that, that's a lie, let it happen. Don't struggle with the thought. A lot of people in manifestation feel, until you don't 100% believe it, it will not happen. No, how can you believe it in the initial stage? You just started speaking the affirmation right now. It cannot be a belief on day one. Allow it to become a belief. And the back of the mind, that thought that is coming, acknowledge it and say, thank you for sharing. Replace it with a hope.
Replace it with a hope. No, it goes.
Okay, so how do you do that? Okay, say that I've gotten this thought
say you're writing.
Head. Yeah, I'm writing.
Say you're writing and the thought comes that I'm not married. Kya jhoot bol rahi hai yaar? So this is the thought comes, right? So you just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And you chant for like 3 or 4 times and it goes completely. I mean, this is, I always suggest to all my participants also, whenever, not just this one, whenever you are doing any manifestation, if the thought comes and if the thought says fear, anxiety or worry or lie, just replace it like this. Replace it with a hope. No. Just chant for 4 or 5 times. Its mind is a monkey. It will just go somewhere else. It will start wandering about something else. Ki shaam ko khane mein kya banega types.
And now continue the affirmation.
Okay.
It's okay to continue the affirmation. The point is, it's okay to have the doubt. Continue.
And slowly you'll see the doubt. Say, right now, say you got the doubt 5 times. You're writing 21 times. You got the doubt 5 times. Trust me, tomorrow you'll get the doubt only 4 times. And day after tomorrow it will be 3 times, and then 2 times, and then 1 time. And you'll start taking actions around it. You'll start seeing people, and you'll start seeing, thinking that, okay, meri shaadi hogi to main ye karungi, wo karungi. All those things will start happening automatically, and things will start falling in place. And we do have examples.
Yeah, let's take an example. So I'll not give the last name, but we have a wonderful student. Her name is Pooja. Although she's happy to share her story. When Pooja came to us, she's one of the most qualified girls that you can see for marriage. Working in a top 4 consulting company, very well to do financially, beautiful looking. So no issues physically, financially, emotionally, intelligent girl. You talk to her, she's very outgoing, she can connect with people. So there's no reason to say she wouldn't get married. Now she was having multiple breakups again and again. When she came to me, she said, my primary reason to work with Law of Attraction is, can you help me find a partner? I said, I can, just don't ask me, can you get my specific person? That I don't know, because I'm not God.
Leave it open.
Yeah, leave it open.
Okay.
Attract love, I can help.
Yeah.
So she said, okay. And I said, first step, let's heal all your wounds from the past. Believe it or not, she had many wounds with her brother.
Brother.
Okay. brother and mother.
Okay.
And I said, let's heal those wounds first. And when I helped her identify, she actually had similar qualities in the partner she broke up with. So I said, let's heal those. Then let's do love pono. Let's vibrate at that frequency. And now let's do those affirmations. Because now when you've healed those wounds, and now you're doing affirmations, at least the doubt is less. Otherwise, it's too strong. And now when the doubt comes, do hope, nope, no, let the doubt go away. She did that for 6 months. She found a partner. But here is the catch. This time, she broke up again in 3 months, but she was the one who said no to him. She said, no, our values don't match.
Okay.
And she was not heartbroken this time. She was not broken this time. She was an independent girl who decided, I'm glad I attracted somebody. He's very good. But it's not something we are connected with. There's no real alignment here. And she spoke about it very comfortably to him. He understood. And the breakup was as smooth as you could have ever imagined. And another few months after that, she got married. Right now, she's married. It's almost a year now. She's very happy.
August last year.
Yeah, it was last year. So when that happened, what is the proof that the wound is gone? That next time when the breakup happens, it's not more hurtful. Now you know it's healed. That's what happened with her. And that is why she was able to attract love in her life. So it's possible.
Like one girl, pura divorce ho gaya tha, complete divorce.
This was a great example.
She was divorced completely, but she was in love with the guy. The guy decided not to live with her. She came back. She used to cry almost every day. Then we started working with her on the love. Then she started vibrating at love. And believe it or not, today she's happily married with him again. So she was a cry baby, honestly. She was a complain baby. She used to complain about almost everything on the earth. So we decided to write down. Then, I mean, honestly, I have coached her one-on-one more than this thing. So she used to write down, okay, I have these complaints from my spouse, from my mother-in-law, from my father-in-law. And we started identifying as a reflection. And one by one, for every complaint, we did hope, no. And I made her accept everything. And today she's staying with her brother-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, and husband.
Wow.
Happily that.
But the reason is, because of what she did with her in the program, by the time the husband came back in her life, she had transformed into a totally different person, Karishma. She was not the same person anymore. The time period was about 8 months, I remember. In the initial time, she was crying every day, complaining every day. By the time the husband came back, every hour. By the time the husband came back, she was magnetic, she was attractive, but because she was more smiling all the time, she was laughing all the time, she was happy, right? She was independent.
Earlier, she's off medicines now. Now they're planning a baby.
She's financially independent before the guy came back in her life. When she met her, she said, I don't know what I'll do with my life. One of the biggest reasons a lot of girls I've seen, sadly, feel bad about is that, what will I do without him? I have nothing right now. I have to start from scratch. That's the state she was in. And before he came back, she became financially independent. Now, off medicines, financially independent, happy person. So when he came in her life again, he didn't get attracted to the same person. So I love to say, be the person you want to attract. I'll tell you what I mean by that. 9 out of 10 times when people come to me and say, I'm not attracting a person in my life, I tell them, okay, let's do this beautiful exercise. Write down the qualities that you want in a person. Now, depending on whether it's a girl or a boy, the qualities are more or less the same, they say. Beautiful, handsome, well-to-do, financially settled, well-behaved, nice talking, connecting, all of that, right? I said, now, you've written how many qualities? Let's say, example, 10 qualities. I said, now, let's do a check mark. How many of these qualities do you practice? Anything that you want in your partner. And believe it or not, 8 out of 10 times they say, oh, I don't have this. I am very reserved, but I want an outgoing person. I am a boring person, but I want an exciting person.
So what is the correlation with this principle and opposites attract?
Oh, beautiful question.
Yeah,
Beautiful
because if it is that I need to vibrate at this frequency that I want in another person, what happens to that theory, where there's somebody who's completely different from you, but you're still attracted to them?
Yeah. So thank you for asking this, because this is such a huge confusion in law of attraction for a lot of people, because there are these two sciences saying like attracts like and then opposites attract.
Yeah.
So let's explain. Physics point of view, understand that science is one. There is no two sciences. Like attracts like, that's clear.
Yeah.
Frequency attracts frequency. We cannot say 101 will attract 201. It is not, there is no such science that says opposite frequencies attract. It's not possible. Right? So why do we say that in normal world? So the actual theory is not that opposites attract, it complementary attracts.
Okay. Explain.
Okay. So my incomplete part is my complementary part as a jigsaw puzzle. And I'm going to attract that. Right? If I am a submissive person, for me to be successful and to be complete in my life, to grow, I need someone as a partner who's going to be aggressive.
Okay.
In an organization, if I am very good at speaking, well, I need somebody who's very good at managing. These are two different strengths. Not everybody has both. So you need your complementary parts with you. But what will attract you to the person is similarities. The differences is what create conflicts later. And that's where we need the skills to develop into acceptance for the relationship. But what will create attraction is always similarities. Example, when we meet a person and we say, like, go back to those college days, when a guy says, yaar, isse na dosti kara de, right? Iska number dila de. So number dila diya ladki ka. Now what the guy will do is, he will start doing research. What research? Usko kya pasand hai, wo kya khati hai, usko kya colors pasand hai, wo kaun si pictures dekhti hai, right? Now, very unconsciously we do this. We'll meet the girl now and say, what do you like to eat? And she'll say pizza. I say, really? I also love pizza. बंदे ने रोटी के सिवाय कुछ नहीं खाया होगा लाइफ में. लेकिन आज वो pizza खाएगा. Right? He may have seen action movies all his life, but he'll ask, what movies do you love? I like romantic movies. Really? I also like romantic movies. The more similarities we create or we have, we attract. That's where the bond happens. That's where the attraction happens. That's where the friendship happens. Now, when you really get into the relationship, you'll realize there are differences also, which are compatibilities. People see that as a conflict. It's not a conflict. It's a compatibility that we need to accept and learn relationship skills to handle those conflicts and to handle those complementary parts of ours, which are disowned by me. For an example, if I take Indu's example, when I met her, I was a very, very submissive person. I had disowned that part of me which can be aggressive. And how do I disown it? By saying, I can never be aggressive. मैं इनकी तरह बात नहीं कर सकता. Like, she's खड़ूस. I would say in those days. अब नहीं बोल सकता, अब तो हिम्मत नहीं होती. So, when I say I can never do this, that's disown, right? But my mentor made me realize that if you accept that part of her, that's what completes you.
As a reflection.
As a reflection. And the more I realized that, the more it became easy for me to appreciate the whole of her rather than just part of her. Because every person has a balance of both sides, advantages and disadvantages.
Correct. So now, why don't we get more into the doing of it?
Sure.
We've discussed theories. I'm sure more theories will come up also.
Yep.
So let's get into the doing of it. How do we start? Let's get the steps. I feel like I'm in a place in life where I'm ready for a relationship. I've had multiple relationships that didn't work out, but I'm willing to work on them. What are the different steps that we should now consider while starting on this process?
Excellent. First step, as I said, I'll do a little recap. Heal the wounds, because if I don't heal the wounds, I won't be able to take action. It'll just keep coming from
Yeah. So I'll just add to that. How do you heal the wounds? So the breakups you had in your example right now, write down why you had breakups. Write down why you, so say with A, B, C, D, what are the complaints you had from that person, why you had breakups. Those breakups are, those reasons, those complaints are basically your wounds he was talking about. Okay.
So once I heal those wounds, now let's start vibrating at the love frequency. Now let's create the right affirmations, and let's not focus on a particular person, let's focus on love.
Okay.
This is the manifestation part. Now it has the action part. So you were asking something.
Just a subtext over there. What are the affirmations?
Okay. So the affirmation now would be as simple as, I would say, whenever we are creating affirmations, don't think of I achieved it today.
Okay.
That's the worst way of making affirmation. Because when you say, I got this today, there is excitement, but can you sustain that? No. So think of it as something that I want to achieve is done 1 month ago. How would you say that information? That's an affirmation. That's a more natural affirmation. Example, if you meet your best friend and you're already married for more than a month or a couple of months, and she didn't know that you were married, what would you say?
Like, in terms of what?
Like she meets you today.
Yeah.
And what would you say? That she's your best friend. Say, how are you doing in life right now? And what would you say? Say,
Been married for the past 2 months.
awesome. And how's life?
Life is good.
Tell me more. How's your life partner? How are you
so
getting along?
you have to make it a conversation.
Now, this is a conversation about your last 2 months is your affirmation. The more natural, the better.
So, for example, let's say I met you. I would say that, I couldn't invite you for the marriage. I'm married to a nice gentleman. He does this, he does that. We met here, we had this conversation, and then we decided to marry. The marriage was so good. This something like this. As in, see, if you meet a best friend, like the other day I met a friend. I was chit-chatting with her till like 2 o'clock because I was meeting her after 5 years. So you talk in length with the person because it's a best friend. You want to give all details. So write down all emotions, all feelings, all thoughts about that incident or about that experience of your life.
Okay, so you're writing this down.
Yes. So, but still to get you started on the question, I'm happily married. Now I have a great chemistry with my partner. We talk a lot. We spend a lot of time with each other. The best part is that we go for holidays together and we love each other's company. We love each other's family. We are very comfortable with each other. There's a lot of freedom and transparency between us. There's a lot of honesty. Anything I want in a relationship, if I'm already living for the last 1 or 2 months, I just want to describe that as if I'm describing it to my best friend. So I call it my best friend technique to write affirmations.
Okay.
Imagine you're telling your best friend what you achieved in the last 3 months of your life. That's the best friend technique.
That's the best friend.
And that's the conversation you have to build your affirmations.
Yes, that's the conversation. And the easier it is to tell your best friend what you achieved in the last 3 months, those are your affirmations. And that's what makes the attraction easier.
Okay.
And when you're doing the conversation, when you're talking, then the feelings comes, thoughts comes, belief comes, and action comes. But when you're just writing that I'm happily married, I'm this, I'm that, then there is no feeling coming. So the feeling is the one who is actually manifesting for you. So for you to bring that feeling, write as if you're writing to your best friend. The emotions will come, and those emotions will increase your attraction and make your attraction really fast.
Next step would be to say these affirmations every day after feeling love.
Okay.
Don't use the affirmations to feel love because right now they don't have that energy. Give it that energy. How do you do that? Use anything in your surrounding to create love. It can be a movie, it can be a past memory, it can be a person, it can be a mom, dad, anybody, your best friend. Feel some love, create some love first. If nothing, go to YouTube and watch some giggling videos of children. Makes you laugh like crazy. Create that happiness. And now say those affirmations for about 5 minutes or whatever that time takes to read that letter that let's say you've written a letter to your best friend saying, this is how my life is like right now after marriage. Read that letter after creating love. This step done, but this has to be done twice a day.
Okay.
Morning and night. So morning after you wake up and night before you sleep. Okay. This we've done. Now going to the action frequency part of it. Now be willing to go out and meet people. And when I'm going out and willing to meet people, the result of my healing wounds will show up now. How? I'll find somebody who's a particular type I always wanted to avoid. And I'll say, wait, let me find out. Let me not be too fast in judging who the person is. Let's figure it out. And now you will realize that you'll talk more, you'll conversate more, you'll connect more at a deeper level that you've never seen people. Because you're seeing the person as a whole now. You're not just seeing that one part of the person saying, oh, she's aggressive, so I'm not going to get close to her. Or, oh, he's submissive, so I'm not going to get close to him. You're open, now connect. That's the next part. But now comes the more important part. Don't create rules and conditions that I would find my right life partner in the next 3 months. That's very dangerous. Again, it creates desperation. Let friendship happen before love. Which means let the comfort happen before the relationship and let the love develop naturally. And for that, you've got to meet multiple people. And as you meet multiple people, if the wounds are healed, you'll connect more, you'll meet more, you'll go deeper in the relationship. And one of those relationships will just strike.
In that case, how do you know when it's right or wrong? Because like we mentioned earlier, we want to write qualities. Now, one of my qualities happens to be that I want somebody, I want somebody stable.
That's the tricky part. But this is a very important law of what I say, at least in relationship attraction of love. Don't attract material realities, attract qualities.
But stable is a quality.
No.
Okay.
Stable is a situation. A person who's financially stable is financially stable today. Can you guarantee me the person will not be financially stable after marriage?
Yeah.
I want a person who's emotionally stable.
Correct.
I would say look for a person whose qualities match with you so that you're not worried that whether you can create that money with that person or not.
स्टेबिलिटी तो क्रिएट हो जाएगी.
Create हो जाएगी. If I can be with that person with a great partnership, like a really awesome partnership, I can start a new business from scratch with someone I really believe in, and we can make it big. But if I have a wrong partner, in terms of qualities, in terms of compatibility, there's no wrong person. Just two compatible people are not compatible. Then a great business can also collapse.
So then how does one solve for the dichotomy, right? Say like I'm making a list and stability is on there.
Yeah.
I want a stable partner.
Yes.
So are you the exception to the rule, or is this how, because a lot of people may have this question, that this is on my list, so now which way do I go from here?
Yes. Thank you for asking. That's a very good question. So when we are attracting somebody, I always say that in law of attraction, don't make too many strong lists or criterias about material qualities. Rather make a stronger list about frequency, which means qualities of a person. About emotionally, how do you want the person to be? About from a beliefs point of view, how do you want your beliefs to match? How do you want your values to match? Why? Because if, let's say, the person is not financially stable today, do a pros and cons as a combination of qualities. I'm not saying don't have material qualities as a part of the checklist, but do the weighing of pros and cons. That let's say a person he's loving, he's kind, he's accepting, he's someone emotionally, everything that you want, beliefs are matching. But now that one tick is not there, financially he's not stable. I would say go heavier towards the frequency to select a person rather than this one thing.
Why?
Why? The reason is because if today that person is not financially stable, if my compatibility with my frequency with my partner is great, we can build that financial stability together, because money is a creation of energy, of qualities, of two people as a partnership, as compatibility. But if that compatibility is not there, a person may be financially stable today and tomorrow after marriage may go bankrupt. It's also possible. Then what do we do? So what happened to that checklist of financial stability? It goes away. So to give you our example, I think she'll give you the example more important than I would.
Yeah, so when I was getting married to him, incidentally, my friend also decided to marry a person that time. Same time, we both decided to get married. We both were late marriages. And the guy he was marrying was financially super stable.
Very stable.
Very stable. And and we had common friends, obviously. So मुझे तो बहुत पड़ी. Everybody was like, you don't grow up, you're still immature. पता नहीं क्या क्या तो सुनने मिला. And then, but I really liked his way of behavior, his emotions, his frequency. He was very stable, very well behaved. And I thought I should marry him. Rahi baat paise ki, I'll take care of that. I was super good at it. So I said, I'll take care of the financial part. And I went ahead with the marriage. After my marriage, after 2 months, my friend also got married. Guess what? Today, forget today, literally after just 1 or 2 years, that entire stability of business and financial stability is gone completely.
Until today.
Until today. The complete stability is gone. We really don't have the details, but the complete stability of that guy in the business is gone. And it's really not doing very well. And she's struggling with money since that time till today.
How many years is that?
It's been 20 years.
20 years, and the struggle is still on.
Struggle is still on.
So frequency is far higher than the material attributes. So if you connect on an energetic level, that energy can be used or propelled to create these different things there.
Yeah, because the material is a manifestation of energy.
Right.
So yes, the energy is more important as a priority. To add to that answer also, I may not want to add as a list that, okay, is he financially stable? But let's look at it. Is he not only emotionally stable, but is he someone who wants to grow? Is he ambitious? Okay, now that's a good quality to have. I was super ambitious. I was not financially stable, but I was someone who wanted to make something of my life. I wanted to do something. That's something to count on as an energy. Why? Because someone who is ambitious is someone who believes that I can add value to the society, I can add value to people to make money. Now, isn't that a great quality to have in a person?
Yeah.
Someone who's a giver, great. At this point of time, he may not have money. But if he has that quality, he'll develop that quality and he'll make money from that. Just like I was saying earlier, that it's possible that two of us doesn't even have to be girlfriend, boyfriend. We can be two friends, very compatible, at zero, start a company from scratch, make billions of dollars. But if we have the wrong people come together, we can take $1 billion company and turn it down to nothing.
Correct. That I think that separation and that understanding of the distinction is very, very important.
Very important to prioritize frequency and qualities, not the material reality of the person at this point of time.
Okay, very interesting. So let me take this a level deeper. Now, say that there are people watching who are in a relationship, in a marriage, which is a lot of people, and they're struggling to maintain the compatibility. They're struggling to maintain the love quotient in their relationship, right? So how is it that one can use the principles of the law of attraction? How does one use the principles of the law of attraction or manifestation to make their existing relationship healthier and happier?
It's a good question.
Very good question. A relationship is made of two things. Love and a compatibility in a relationship, whether it is marriage, whether it's partnership in a business, any relationship is made of two things: similarities and differences. Similarities are very easy to get along with, but that's what creates the attraction, as I said earlier. It's the differences that we need to be prepared for, and that's where we need to build frequency within me in terms of qualities as skills to handle each other's differences and similarities and convert that into compatibility rather than conflicts. So what is a conflict? A conflict is where two people have different opinions. What is compatibility? I appreciate your point of view, you appreciate my point of view. We may not agree to it all the time, but can I at least learn to appreciate that point of view?
So this is a theory that goes well by theory, right? Like, okay, you're telling me, you're appealing to the left side of my brain and I'm in agreement.
Yep.
But when you're in a relationship, when you're in the heat of the moment and you live with that person and there's so much friction, seeing the side of logic is difficult. So now I'll come to the action part of it.
Sure.
What does one do to bring back that love energy, bring back that love frequency and vibration in their existing relationship, should it not be there?
Sure. First question in the action part, I always ask people like this when they come for our workshops is, first decide. Decision is very important. Do you want to work on the relationship or you don't? Both are decisions. I want, I don't want. Both are decisions and both are fine. And both have to decide that. But let's say I'm talking to one person right now who's attending our workshop. I would ask that person first saying, you decide first. Do you want the marriage? You don't want the marriage. You want to work on it? You don't want to work on it. It's as simple as you go to a business consultant and say, I want to build my company which is going into losses. The consultant will first ask, are you sure?
You want to still do this?
You still want to do this? It's in a difficult situation. I can help you, but it's not going to be easy. Are you sure you want to? Or do you want to simply start a new business? So that's the first question I would say, ask yourself. Commit to it. Commit to it either ways. Both are commitments. I want it or I want to move on. And there is really nothing wrong with the conversation of a divorce. Maybe we can get into that deeper later. But first decide. Now, once the person decides, yes, I want this relationship. Now let's move to the second step in terms of action. What are the qualities of that person that I don't like the most right now? Because why am I upset with the person? Some things I don't like with the person, right? Let's change that person later. First, let's dissolve our emotional hurt between me and that person with all the qualities that I don't like about the person. How do I do that? Again, let's go back to hope, no. I write down each quality that I don't like about my partner. And I start doing hope, no for that, saying, like in my case, I actually did that.
Okay.
So I'll tell you a very crazy part about our marriage. First 1 year of my marriage was full of divorce conversation.
Really?
Really.
Not from me.
Never from her. I told you, she's very easy to live with.
No.
She is. Because for her, no matter what kind of a person I am, her rules to be with me committed is very easy. Whoever I am, it's fine with her. For me, I had rules about she can't be aggressive, why she's so strong about opinions. The more I couldn't handle that, every time I wanted to divorce her. Now, when I went to my mentor for the first time, I went to him saying, "Hamara pyar se divorce kara de." Okay, it's a different conversation. In the end of that conversation, he turned me around saying, "You need to be with this person."
Okay.
So he first asked me, he said, "Do you want to be?" Somehow the conversation turned out in such a way that I said, "Yes, I want to." He said, "Okay, now write down what are the things you don't like about her. What is creating that upset in you? What is creating that negative frequency in you?" She's not creating it. Just the presence of her is creating it. Can you guarantee me that that quality that you get upset about her will not transform and manifest into other people around you? then what will you do? How many people will you run away from? Today I leave this company, go to another company. Today I leave this relationship, go to another relationship. These qualities may manifest anywhere. In fact, they will manifest because they are a manifestation of what I'm avoiding. So I wrote down one of the qualities I'm not liking about her is anger, let's say aggression. I said, okay, now write down what are the advantages of those qualities that you've never appreciated. I said, how can anger be good? He said, no, write down. Everything has good and bad. Nothing is only good, nothing is only bad. Right? Just because somebody is very sweet, it's not always good. I said, no, being sweet is good. He said, okay, tell me one disadvantage of being sweet all the time. I don't know. He said, think. And when he really forced me to think, I realized that when I'm too sweet all the time, I'm telling him about me, the disadvantage is sometimes I'm not honest with people. No?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not straight with people sometimes because I want to be sweet all the time. Whereas she's honest. And the moment I said that, I realized, oh, that's an advantage about her. She's always, and she really is always honest. She'll never deceive. She has that amazing quality of being honest no matter what difficult conversation she's going through. And I realized my disadvantage is because of my sweetness, I can be dishonest. I can unconsciously deceive people. And later realize, oh shoot, I didn't mean that. But I said it. Why didn't I say no at that time? And as I realized this and I wrote down the advantages of the qualities of her that I'm upset with, I realized I need those qualities as much as I avoid them. Now I start appreciating the person. So yes, you're right. Appreciating, it's very easy to say and it appeals to the logical mind. But the exercise required is write down the qualities that you don't like about the person and start looking at the advantages of these qualities. Of where do you need these qualities in your life? And believe it, if you have committed to the relationship, you'll find those advantages are there. They're always there. Because whenever there are upsets between two people, the basic theory between that is always this. I have disowned some things about her, which she's coming in front of me with all the time. Now, I'm not disowning those things about her. These are disowned things about me, my disowned parts. The more I accept those parts and I realize that it has an advantage also, now I start appreciating her. As a result of that, I start imbibing some of those qualities now. So you'll see marriages where two people are with each other for a very long period of time. And if they develop the kind of love and compatibility that we have, you start exchanging qualities.
Okay.
So I actually started developing certain amount of aggressiveness, which was healthy, which I was missing. Being honest to people, saying no to people when I don't mean to do something for them. So that's the second step. Appreciate the qualities of those person that you're depreciating right now.
So I want to give an example here. You may say that, or the viewers may say that it is Mitesh, so he can do it. हम normal इंसान हैं, हम नहीं कर सकते. But we have many participants who have done it.
When it comes to things like infidelity and adultery, very conflicting opinions, right? And wanting the relationship back versus your self-respect, two sides of the same coin. How do you guide your students if they are going through these type of situations? Because if my friend comes to me and says, it's adultery, I'll say leave.
Yeah.
That's just me. Yeah.
So my answer to, like recently somebody did ask me that question and my answer is, don't use global rules to apply to your marriage. First check how is your marriage working? Understand who you both are together as honesty. What is infidelity? In simple language, cheating. Make it even simpler, dishonesty, right? Figure out how to be honest with each other first. There are couples who I know who say, as far as the other person is honest with me, I don't care what that person does, who the person has a relationship with me. I want to be honest with the person has to be honest with me. Is that wrong? Yes, as per many people. Is it working for them? Ask them. It seems to be working for them. Then keep it. Now, if it's not working for me, I will not do that. Isn't that also honesty?
With yourself.
With me.
Yeah.
First, let's be honest with myself. Am I okay if my partner goes around with somebody else physically? I'm not okay. I'm being honest with myself. But if I had to answer, is it a right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? That would be too global to answer for, because it's not...
It's not universal.
It's not universal.
Right.
There are both these people who exist and both are happy. There are people like my mom and dad are happy, but they're not necessarily into adultery relationships, but they're happy and they're committed. But I also know couples who are in multiple relationships and they're happy. Now, whether that will turn out to long-term happiness or not, I don't know. But right now, they seem to be peaceful with each other. Important part is, are they honest with each other? I would say to the student, first, be honest with the partner and say, open up the whole conversation. There are two kinds of conflicts in a relationship. Closed conflict and open conflict. The ones you can resolve are open. The ones you can't resolve are closed. So I would say first, if you think your partner is going through something like this or doing something like this, open the conflict.
Okay.
And have a very open discussion. Are you okay with this or not okay with this? Ask a reverse question. If I do this, are you okay with it?
Yeah.
And if the other person says, no, you're a girl, you can't do that. Okay, so then maybe I don't want to be in a relationship like this because it's not based on dual honesty.
Yeah.
It's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
But if the person says, okay, I still love you the way you are. And if you're taken aback by that kind of love, and if you think that's worth taking a chance upon, open up that conflict and have more conversations. And now go deeper into, why do I not feel loved by you? What am I doing that is not making you feel complete enough for you to be attracted to somebody else?
Okay. Okay.
Let's go into those conversations also.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
honesty is the first part. I would say the first guidance to those students would be, open your conversation in your marriage to the next level of honesty. What is happening and why is it happening?
Okay. Let's go back to the actionable steps that we were talking about earlier on people resolving conflict within their relationships, which is not necessarily adultery, but just like, getting on.
A conflict, yeah.
So, yeah.
So, like I said, the first step would be to identify the conflict. Second is, what do I not like about her? And I appreciating those qualities, right? Now, the third is very important. What are the things she doesn't like about me? Let's write those down.
Yeah.
I'm not a good listener. How do I know that? She complains a lot about it. You don't listen to me. Arey, so isn't it very visible? The feedback is so visible. Write it down. She's complaining again and again to me that I'm not listening to her. Okay, so I'll write it down. She's saying I'm not listening to her. That's a quality missing in me, because of which compatibility is missing. So let's develop relationship skills which create compatibility. Listening is a great quality. Now I'll develop that. But if I'm not willing to work on that quality, and I want that intimacy to come back, I want that love to come back, it will not happen. What was there in the beginning of the relationship? Listening was there. What's missing today? Listening is missing. I'm just taking isolated one example. But when I write a list of these examples, you'll see all these qualities were there in the beginning. That's what made the love happen in the first year. As the relationship went on, we started taking each other for granted and started losing these qualities. But here is the best part. If even for the first 1 month of the marriage, if there was compatibility, it means I have the potential to have a good listening quality. Isn't that a great news? That the love was there. So I can bring it back. It's not so difficult. It's pretty simple. And I always ask this question to my students. If today you wrote down all the qualities that you think that the other person doesn't like about you, are you going to have 100 qualities? But doesn't it feel like it?
Yeah, it sometimes feels like it. You get caught up in that whirlwind and it's like, I don't like anything about this person.
I said, write it down.
Like once you get to it and actually start decoding and dissecting, you realize that it's actually like very few things.
I say, how many? Write it down. And when they really do the exercise, they say 6. I said, you thought 600?
6 is manageable.
6 is manageable, right? I said, okay, next question. Is it rocket science to learn these 6 qualities? Like, what is rocket science? Building a rocket. What Elon Musk did, right? Is it rocket science to learn these 6 qualities? No. Hand on your heart. Be honest and tell me, whether you're a girl or a boy, कितना time लग जाएगा? कितना time? चलो, आप busy हो, आप business कर रहे हो, जो भी है, कितना time लग जाएगा? And 99% people say 3 महीना. तो कर ले.
It's 3 months.
3 months. Is it worth the rest of your life happiness? Anyways, once you build a skill, it's with you for the rest of your life.
Correct.
Might as well build it. And believe me, they build it. And the relationship slowly starts coming up with love and connection, because what creates attraction between two people? Similarities. Right? She likes a person who listens. I am now listening. Similarities. She likes a person who's honest. I'm now building that honesty to be courageous with her. Okay, she likes that. Similarities in ideas, in ideologies, in beliefs. Honestly, Karishma, having a good relationship is so easy if we just know, as you said, the decoding of it and the coding of it. But we have this belief that relationships are complex. Like if you ever ask this question to somebody, and I do this as a trick with my students many times, right? When I'm doing a Zoom call and there are 500 people attending, I'll say, how many of you agree relationships are very complex? They're like, yeah. I said, okay, take the same hand, give yourself a tapu. Where did you learn this?
Yeah. It's
Like, who
actually
told
very
you?
easy. It's simple.
It's simple. You believe it's complex, so you're not even trying to achieve it. Simple question I'll ask you. If today, a common person who's listening to you, someone who's your fan, wants to aspire to be one day like Karishma, right? Have a Realign podcast like her. That's why they are your fans. That's why they look up to you. If you ask them, how easy will it be to be like Karishma, successful as a podcaster, influence so many people? They say, very complex. Ask Karishma.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I ask Karishma, how easy is it to start another channel and maybe build it to the same level as what you've done today?
Correct. It's just a matter of perception. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So start with that decision. It's simple. Write down those qualities, work on those qualities that are missing, and build it. It's not that difficult.
Okay. So there are 3 steps that people can do
To start with.
To
The
start.
Relationship Mastery Workshop has a little more, but
Yeah. Okay. To
Start
begin
with
with,
3 steps.
as the first nascent step.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go on to another fundamental, which, like we've discussed, filling ourselves up with love is so important.
Yeah.
If for either scenario, right? If whether you're looking for a new partner or you're looking to kind of bridge the gap in your current relationship, self-love is a non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
So what are your top actionable tips and techniques that people can implement from today to begin that journey?
First is start the affirmation. I love myself the way I am.
Yeah.
Irrelevant of whether my partner loves me or not.
Yeah.
Such a crazy statement to say. Like imagine, my mentor Sahil gave me this statement first time. I don't take credit for it. He said, if you keep saying I am nothing without her, that's not love. Can you love yourself without her? It was very shocking the first time I heard it. I said, that's not love. He said, that is love.
Yeah.
For yourself, not for her. And the more I said that, I started realizing every time I said it, it went deeper. That's step 1. Step 2, start spending time with yourself. At the very least, give yourself 10 minutes of alone time every day. Why? Most people are so bored talking to themselves for even 10 minutes that they'll do everything in their life to distract themselves from being themselves.
Really, I'm the opposite. Like, if you leave me alone, I'll just be alone.
That amazing.
I just love spending time with myself. I'm like left to do absolutely anything that I want. I can read, I can watch cricket, I can do multiple other things. So, I don't know. I think I have too much of the second type. Like, I could just be alone.
But that's amazing about you,
Yeah.
because now that means you have so much of self-love. You
Yeah,
can be
like,
more with yourself. You can spend so much time with yourself.
Yeah, and I love it. Like, if I'm left to do nothing, it's like my ideal situation.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
rare, but it's not.
Yeah, it's,
That means you're your best friend.
yeah, I can actually say that because I enjoy my company. Yeah.
That's the second step. Start spending time with yourself and start expanding that time to someone as much as you, where you could spend days with yourself.
Yeah.
And
No,
not feel alone.
In fact, there was, I think it was sometime, few weeks ago, weeks or months, I can't remember. I went for a movie by myself. And
Wow.
I told
I
somebody,
love doing that.
I was like, yeah, I went to a movie. It's like, with who? I said, me. I was like, but isn't
I
that
like
really
that
weird? I said, but why? Why is that weird? You're there to watch the movie. And I went to Insignia. There was amazing food. And there was like a recline. I was in heaven. I was like, wow, there's absolutely no other way I should be doing this. I don't know why I waited so long.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I eat meals alone often. And I enjoy it.
I love doing that. too.
Yeah.
I make it a point to go for a holiday every 2 months alone for
Yeah.
at least 3 days.
Yeah.
And she does that when I'm gone
Yeah.
for herself.
It's healthy. I think the overemphasis on a constant companion is extremely overrated.
Very true.
Because when you can be with yourself, you can actually be a different person as well, right? Like, for me, I don't want to just become somebody else. My identity is super important to me. Like,
Absolutely.
I'll always be a reader. Now, if I happen to have a partner who's a non-reader, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop
Exactly.
overnight becoming a non-reader.
Non-reader,
Yeah, for example. Yeah.
So I would really say expand more on that time as much as we can. That would be the second step. And then the third step would be create healthy boundaries with people. Exactly what you said about, let's say I find a partner who doesn't like reading, but I love reading. Create those healthy boundaries. Let the person not love reading, and you continue reading.
It's freedom, basically.
Yeah, freedom. Give yourself the freedom first to be yourself.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, what they do is they start sacrificing the moment they find somebody.
Yeah.
Sacrificing themselves.
Yeah.
They'll stop watching the movies they watch. They'll stop doing things like reading, which they like to do. I would say that's the sign of danger. Stop there and go back to loving yourself, so that the person will continue loving you, because of which they fell in love with you in the first place, which is your self-love.
Correct.
That was radiating, so they got attracted to you in the first place. So don't lose that. Protect that.
Okay.
So the classic definition of a relationship, which is a false definition, is two incomplete meeting together to complete is bullshit. Actually, two complete people coming together to make a more complete relationship.
Exactly.
It's a much healthier definition.
Let's talk about visualization, because it's such a spoken about concept. We've touched upon it in the first episode that we did.
Yes.
But let's bring it to home when we talk about it in the context of love.
Yes.
Does it work? Does it not work? And I ask this from the perspective of, again, right, the feeling or that nudging that when you're writing and it says, that's a lie, that's a lie. So how do you kind of do that if it does work without feeling that I don't have it, the lack of it?
The best way is create the feeling first and then say the affirmation. Again, I'll come back to that same
But
point.
this is visualization.
Visualization.
Yeah.
Again, same thing. So what I would do is, I'll give you both the scenarios, one where I'm not married and one where I'm already married. Both scenarios I may want to experience more love because I may be feeling lack in both the scenarios. So let's say I'm not married right now and I want to feel love. Okay. I will purposely watch a scene of a movie which makes me feel amazing. Okay. And I'm sure everybody has some scenes like this, in some songs and some movies. Everybody has them.
Yeah.
Please don't watch the one that makes you sad.
Okay.
Warning sign. So go back to that scene, watch it, feel it. Close your eyes and visualize yourself in that scene with your partner. Easy to visualize. Difficult to visualize what you have never imagined. So how do you imagine it? See it, now visualize it. You remember the last time I said, see it, then visualize it. For when you keep practicing visualization with your hands. Similarly, if I want to visualize myself married or with a partner having fun, any scene of a movie which has made me feel love is because that is one of my desires. Right? Now everybody has different desires.
Yeah.
Let's say it's about in a movie, a scene where there are two partners sitting together reading a book. And you feel like, oh, I want that. Okay, so that's your desire. It may not be the same for everybody. For you, it may be two people having a dinner and looking in each other's eyes. Okay, so see that scene. Feel that feeling, watch that scene, close your eyes, imagine you're doing the same with your partner. Now, you don't need to visualize the face of the partner because you don't have that person right now. But feel now that the person is there. Very easy to visualize when the scene is in front of you. See it, close your eyes, visualize it. Open your eyes again, feel it. And it's not going to be more than, I guarantee you, a 1 minute scene. In any movie, especially romantic movies, there are these 1 minute scenes. Which puts people into that state of, whoa. Watch that, whichever it is for you. Relive it, close your eyes, imagine it. If you do it 2-3 times, becomes natural. Now do it twice a day.
Okay.
Very easy. Same thing if I'm married.
Okay.
Where now the scenes would be different. Where I would have seen a movie where there are two people who are married and they're having a great compatible conversations during a conflict conversation and laughing about it. And I'm like, I missed this in my marriage. Okay, watch that scene, feel that good, close your eyes and imagine you're doing the same with your partner. Very easy to visualize what you see. Very difficult to visualize what you have never seen in your life.
Okay. Very interesting technique. Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to some affirmations that we can help people with to better or improve their relationships across. So this is not just for romantic relationships, this is across the board. Okay, if people want to improve their relationship with their parents, what is the ideal affirmation?
It's as simple as I love them the way they are.
Okay.
And I love everything about them. And I'm grateful for them. That's the important part.
And at this point, I'll say that we are giving a first lesson complimentary of relationship mastery. That's where we start with the parents.
Oh.
So we are starting to accept love and accept people in our life, start with parents. So our first lesson talks only about parents.
Okay, awesome.
And that has transformed many, many lives. And I can give you a story also. So there's a coach, he's an artificial intelligence coach. Absolute logical person, IIT graduate. किसी चीज़ में प्यार मोहब्बत कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. I felt, he's a friend of mine. I felt that he needs relationship coaching. I offered him help. I gave him the access to relationship mastery. He just watched that one lesson.
और कुछ देखा ही नहीं उसने.
और कुछ नहीं देखा उसने. सिर्फ
बाद में देखा पूरा.
एक लेसन देखा उसने. On the way to US trip, flight में एक लेसन वो देख पाया. He just watched that first lesson. After watching that lesson, in that lesson at the end, Mitesh asked some actions. He took that action of sending one small message to his father and telling him that how much he loves his father and how much he accepts his father and how thankful he is towards his father. He just sent a small WhatsApp message to his father. And that was, after that, unfortunately, his father passed away. And at the end, obviously, he said he loves his father, and his father responded back to him saying that I love you too. And that was the last message they both exchanged with each other.
Okay.
And after 15 days, his father unfortunately passed away. But he's so peaceful at heart right now about his father because he took care of him, that entire emotion, whatever as a son-father relationship, whatever griefs he had dropped it thanks to that one lesson of mine. So I feel that one lesson is a gold mine actually, and that I'm giving it free to your viewers.
That's amazing.
So
and
there
this
will
is
be a
such a
link.
moving story. I'm sure people will benefit. So we'll the links
we'll
are below.
yeah.
It's already passed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about if people want to improve? Parents want to improve their relationship with their children.
Yeah. I allow my children to be who they want to be.
I agree.
An affirmation to improve your relationship with your partner, your current partner.
Yeah. I accept my partner with all his or her flaws and strengths.
The way.
Strengths and weaknesses, both.
Okay.
Simple can be
I accept my partner with both his or her strengths and weaknesses.
or a simpler can be I love and accept the way he or she is.
Okay. Their friends.
Oh, I love my friends the way they are.
With their strengths and
That's, I think, very easy, right?
Siblings.
Siblings. Yeah. I never made an affirmation for siblings. But I think it would be as simple as I do love my siblings the way they are, with all their qualities, which I have thought were irritating.
What about work colleagues?
Yeah. So there's a primary affirmation that I like to use, which not only works for work, but everywhere, especially works at work. It is very easy to get along with me, and it is very easy for me to get along with people. This is a master affirmation, where we program ourselves to believe again and again that it is very easy to get along with me. So I am easy for people to get along with.
Yeah.
And it is very easy for me to get along with all kind of people. So that way then in my work area, when there are different type of people, I'm allowing myself to get along easily with other people. But otherwise you'll see a lot of people, if you ask them, how many people do you really get along with in the office? They'll get handful of people. And unfortunate part is they say it very proudly. I have a very close group of people. That's nothing to be proud of. It shows that somewhere I'm a little limited as a person.
Yes.
And maybe if I have more ambition, but if I have more ambition, if I, let's say I want to be a CEO of a company, then let's see if I can learn to be more influential to make it easy to get along with me. And can I easily influence more people? Can I easily get along with more and more people?
Okay.
So that would be the affirmation.
Okay. Fantastic. We have another interesting segment that we think could be very helpful to people. It's called Ask the Expert. So what we've done is we've come up with scenarios which we think that people will relate to. And we'll place that scenario in front of you and then ask you what are the techniques or what principles of the law of attraction can be used to resolve it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Coaching case study.
Really like jogging brain cells over here. Okay. I keep attracting partners who are emotionally unavailable. What am I manifesting wrong?
I am emotionally unavailable to myself. That is why I am attracting unavailable emotional partners.
That's the part in me I have disowned completely and I have not owned it. Hence, I'm seeing it as a reflection again and again. The moment I own it, I will not see it.
How do we own it?
Go back, write and say hope, nope, no again. Go back to the first lesson, reflection.
Okay. How can I use manifestation to improve communication in my relationship?
How can I?
How can I use manifestation to improve communication in my relationship?
Oh, beautiful question. use feeling words more
Okay.
rather than statements only.
Explain.
Yeah. So I love you is a feeling word. As marriage extends, people start using less of feeling words and more of logical words, statements. Start using more of feeling words, which is what you did use in the beginning of your marriage, which is what communicated relationship to each other. I feel good with you. I feel excited. I feel love. Let's have fun. I feel bored. Instead of just communicating in words, which communicates hurt feelings, use feelings to communicate. Use words that have feelings to communicate first. So the more feeling words we use, easier it is. Second, don't tell the other person, I'm angry with you. Say, I am feeling angry when you say this to me. Own your feelings when communicating that feeling to the other person. Don't put it on the other person saying, I'm feeling angry because of you. No, I am feeling angry when you say this. It just makes it so much more easier to communicate. And the moment I say, I am feeling this, the charge in that emotion goes down a bit.
No, it's not offensive anyway.
Yeah, it's not offensive
It's
anymore.
not offensive. So the
You're
other
only
person
your
doesn't
feeling.
get defensive.
Okay. Very good advice. Is it possible to manifest a rekindling of a relationship that ended due to external circumstances?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if they broke up due to external circumstances, the internal circumstances are somewhere still intact. We can still rekindle them.
That first example was the same thing.
Okay.
They had broken up because of the in-laws.
Yeah.
And she's rekindled because she had that feeling still for her partner and her partner still had it. So they went back even after doing a formal divorce.
Wow. Okay. What manifestation strategies would you recommend for someone who struggles with trust in relationships?
Very simple. I trust myself. Start with that. Because someone who struggles to trust others is not, the real struggle is not with others. The real struggle is with myself. And that person will usually observe, finds difficult to trust one's own decisions. Decisions about making money, decisions about who to trust, decisions about as simple as what movie to watch, decisions. And the more extreme the trust is, or the lack of trust is, the more extreme will be the indecisiveness as a symptom. So you can identify that very easily. So start that affirmation saying, I trust myself and I trust my decisions. I trust myself and I trust my decisions. The exact opposite you'll find in a person when they say, I don't trust myself anymore in a relationship.
Okay. Yeah. That makes
So let's get back to, I trust myself and I trust my decisions.
I think it all comes back to you
Yeah.
in some way or the other. Okay. How can one cleanse their space and self from the energy of a previous relationship?
Again, going back to the same thing. Identify the hurt, identify the wound, write down the hope, no, do the reflection. And write down the reflections and do the hope, no. After that, you will cleanse it. You will be over that entire
But even the space, like, sometimes if you're in a long and extended relationship which ends, the space in itself has that blocked energy. So
What do you mean by space? You mean physical space?
the physical space.
So let's say a house,
Yeah.
for an example. So the physical space will not matter so much as the energy space in my head, right? So I'll give you a very good example. When I met her, she had divorced her life partner earlier before me. And one of the things I am a strong believer of because of relationship mastery and law of attraction is, as you said, heal the wounds of the past. So the best way would be, more than forgetting what's in my space which belongs to that person. That's a very superficial way of doing it, because you may still get rid of that area or that material and you'll still remember that person in your headspace. Would be to, one step is do that hope no for that person, but the most important symptom would be go meet that person and forgive. Complete with that person. So if you remember, I insisted, I said it would, of course, after I communicated to her how important it is, and I said, why don't you go back to him and meet him once and complete that relationship? Because when the breakup happens, generally it happens in a little bitter note. I said, let's just go back and make that breakup peaceful. Ki chalo jo ho gaya, so ho gaya, you move on, I move on. Go with love, grow with love. And she did that with him. She had a good 1 hour conversation with him. Not that they met many, I think you didn't meet after that, right? Never met after that. But something settled after that.
So we are still in touch. We
Yeah.
are still in touch. We wish each other on our birthdays. When we talk, we catch up with each other a little bit here and there.
Even though they've never met after that. But something is that settled, at peace about it. Which means now the things belonging to that person physically or emotionally will not hurt anymore.
Very interesting. Okay.
In fact, that's the sign. If something physically is there and it's still hurting you and you're just avoiding the physical reality away, not good enough. Go back and meet the person, complete it. So that you can look at the same book that belongs to the same person, smile, say okay. And just move on as if it's just a memory of a friend.
Yeah. Okay, that brings us to the end of this love episode. Let's end with just your last thoughts on actionable things people can do to fill love into their lives.
My favorite part.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody joins our relationship mastery workshops, one of the assignments I give, very crazy assignment I give to people. One assignment is, please go and talk to your parents twice a day. Please. They are the source of love. Why? The electricity in our house looks like it is in our house. It's not. There's a transformer somewhere in the city, and that's the source. Our parents is the source of the energy that we are born with. Physically, literally. We wouldn't have been born without them. That energy bond is never disconnected. But mentally, we can disconnect with people. And when we have issues with our parents, or sometimes even when we don't have issues with our parents and we are complete with them, but we don't give them enough time, at an emotional level, when we are disconnected, that source of energy is disconnected. It blocks our ability to attract something more beautiful in our life. So go back to the source. The way we would go back to the source with our self-love, I would say go back to the source with self-parents. In fact, one of the things I learned from my mentor is more than self-love is important parents. Because that's where you were born from. You were not born with the identity of who you were first. In fact, you were nothing when you were born. You had no understanding of who you are as an identity.
Yeah.
But your parents did.
Correct.
So love them first, then yourself, and now comes the important part if you're in a relationship and even if you're not. Express love to your partner more regularly. I'm taking a hand.
Oh, so
Look, where is she? she's back to her parents already.
so busy listening to it.
Yeah.
So I would say express love to your partner more often. So I tell my students the moment they join, if you're married, compulsory, hold your partner's hands openly more regularly in a day. Say I love you many times in a day. Don't count. I'm not saying twice a day. You have to lose the count. It has to become a habit. Aate jate, I love you bolo. Look in the other person's eyes when you say I love you. At least if it's a man, my advice is look into your wife's eyes so much that at least once she has to say bas kar. See that? You have to do that once as a man. You have to go be so present to your wife once. Just by eyes, like just while talking to her. Like if I just keep looking at her, you see she's going to put her eyes down.
Yeah.
Give her that feeling of completeness. Fill herself so much with love that she's not going to ask for more because you've already filled enough. Pet bhar gaya hai, so nobody's going to feel hungry. That is one. From the wife's point of view, I would say speak a lot of loving words to your partner and allow physical intimacy.
Yeah.
A lot of people who have got long periods of marriage have lost that physical intimacy. Now, I know it's easy to say that, but that's just an action step. Start with that. Start with those hugs. Physical intimacy is not what we do in the end of the day in the bed. That's the end of it. The beginning starts with a hug. The beginning starts with a touch in the hands. The beginning starts with the eye contact. The beginning starts with a kiss. And it doesn't have to be a kiss on the lips. It can be with a kiss on the forehead. Start with that. I would say take those basic actions first. Why? That's what started the relationship, isn't it? When you met somebody and you got attracted and you fell in love, you didn't have sex the first day. I mean, nowadays people do, but but that's not what people always call love on the first day. They may have a relationship physically, but they don't call it love the first day. Nobody does. That I know. Right? They may say, okay, let's take it slow, but they don't call it love the first day. When do they call it love? When they are very comfortable with these small actions. When they're comfortable with somebody around them holding their hands and comfortable. Saying I love you and comfortable. A kiss on the forehead and comfortable. Make those actions more repetitive again.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, there are two more things from my side. One is that whenever you see a conflict in the relationship, instead of blaming the person, work on yourself. That works very well for me. It works amazing. That's one. And second, freedom. Don't feel that the person is married with me or dating me. That means I have caged him. Don't tell him, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Don't get into the caging the person. Let the person do whatever he wants to do and you do whatever you want to do. These are two things I feel are very important in love.
Lucky.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I learned a lot. And I hope that everybody watching has made notes and is making a positive change after this to fill themselves up with love.
Let's spread the world more
More
with love. Thanks
yeah,
to you.
yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope this episode added value to your lives. Join the Realign movement. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one.